What's up guys, QAJ3 Austin here, and welcome to my review of Poets of the Fall's 8th album, Ultraviolet. First of all, I want to apologize for how long it took me to get this video up. The album has been out for over 2 months now, and I should have done this video back then, but once again, I got extremely lazy. Anyway, better late than never, and here we are to finally discuss Ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is the follow-up to 2016's Clearview, and only the Poet's second album to have a one-word title. Back when Clearview first came out, it was a very polarizing album for many fans of the Poets. Some liked the new, more electronic direction the music took, while some yearned for the days of old when their music was more rock-oriented. And not to mention the decision to work with an outside producer, Stefan Bowman, whose production style is vastly different from Captain's, also divided fans. So having said all that, we knew even before it was announced that Ultraviolet would bring us the answer to a very big question. What is the future sound of Poets of the Fall? Will they stick with the direction of Clearview, or will they go back to their roots and give us another album like Signs of Life or Carnival of Rust? One sign pointing toward the latter is that Captain did the production of Ultraviolet himself, keeping Stefan Bowman well away from this project. But for a true answer to whether or not Poets of the Fall have returned to form, you'll have to listen to this review. So let's get started talking about each of the songs on Ultraviolet. Dancing on Broken Glass. The album opens with an emotional but poppy song about a relationship plagued with difficulties, but at the end of it all, the two people still love each other. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the instrumental here is very basic, far from being the most complex song Poets has ever done. I don't mind that, since a simple and light song can still be good, but I think this song is a bit too weak to be the opening song of the album. As far as theme, the lyrics of this song are right in line with the message of the entire album, standing up to adversity, rising when you've fallen, and looking forward to a bright future. In terms of setting up those ideas, this is a really good opening song, but in the sense of the sound itself, not so much, although I did really like the music video. My Dark Disquiet. Here we have a perfect blend of rock and electronic, which picks up the pace from the last song for sure. It really has the atmosphere of a night filled with seductive evil and danger as the narrator races to escape it. The problem is, the enemy is his own dual personality, so outrunning it proves nearly impossible. This song really builds tension by starting each verse slowly, then suddenly picking up intensity, which comes to a head at the really catchy chorus. Seriously, the line, "making waves and diving under, lightning to the sound of thunder," is so smooth and awesome to listen to. Also, near the end of the song, there's some lines about marionette strings, which ties in with the game from Clearview. That song was about being controlled by the strings of a puppet master, while this one is about being liberated from those strings. Very cool that they brought those two songs together. False Kings. Before the album came out, I listened to this song and watched the video a ton, loving it more and more every time. I remember wondering how it would fit with the entire album once it was released. Honestly, the place it has is kind of jarring. Like, I can see why they decided to place it here, but for some reason I don't think it flows very well with the songs on either side of it. I don't know why, I can't really explain it. Regardless, I love how much this song sounds like a James Bond theme. Many people have acknowledged this on the internet, including the band themselves. It's part orchestral, part acoustic, part electronic, and it flows really well. I hope it actually makes its way into a Bond film one day. In a way, I think False Kings kind of continues the story of My Dark Disquiet. The narrator is still trying to resist the influence of an evil power, but in the end he's not quite able to resist after all, as he ends up whining and dining on that cyanide. A pretty unfortunate fate, sadly. I'm not sure if the Poets intended these two songs to tie together the way I think they do, but it still works just as well. Fool's Paradise. I don't know if any other Poets song has ever conveyed the true feeling of flying this perfectly. Well, maybe Clear Blue Sky, but I think this song is actually a bit better than that one. This is my second favorite song on Ultraviolet, marginally beaten by The Sweet Escape, but we'll talk about that one in a bit. Fool's Paradise is about escaping the chains holding you to the ground, leaving it all behind and taking to flight and freedom. I interpret this song to be about leaving your comfort zone and spreading your wings into different aspects of life. The Fool's Paradise is the comfort zone itself, and when you stay inside of it, you fool yourself into thinking that it's paradise, when really there's so much more out there. The first two rounds of the chorus portray the comfort zone, then the last chorus shows that the narrator is ready to leave his fears and doubts behind and rise to blinding heights. It's a really powerful contrast, which works really well in my opinion. The instrumental, like I already mentioned, conveys the feeling of flying perfectly. Granted, the very first part gives the impression that this will be a harder song, but then it quickly shows its true colors. I especially like the bridge, where the synthesizer kicks in and things get really ambient and trancy. Overall, this is a really good song to listen to when you need a quick boost of energy, like right when you wake up in the morning. Standstill. Here things slow down, though not to a standstill, with an acoustic song involving more simplistic lyrics than we've been hearing. I like the message of getting up if you fall, even if it's put really bluntly here with no implication to it. Lyrically, I've realized it's very much like something we would have heard on Signs of Life, their first album. Not to mention the fact that this song starts with the letter S, and lots of songs on Signs of Life did as well. I wonder if maybe this song was written back then and re-recorded for this album, or maybe they just went out of their way to call back to that sound. Either way, they did a really great job with it. The verses are driven by a slow acoustic guitar, which becomes really catchy really quick. Then the chorus picks up the pace, and to me it sounds like a song you would hear around a campfire, with everybody clapping along and having a good time with it. There's also something about the mixing that makes the song sound like it's vibrating. I can't really explain it, it's really weird. But the best part of this song is that they mention Late Goodbye. That goes back to what I was saying about Signs of Life. No matter how far they've come, Poets of the Fall are always willing to go back and reference their older works, and that's one of the things I love the most about them. The Sweet Escape. More like the sweet 80s. This is definitely my favorite song on the album. I cannot get over how groovy and seductive the 80s pop synthesizer is. And the lyrics are so powerful, talking about love and fierce friendship and seeing the best in someone despite going through hard times. I feel like this is the kind of song that the child in me was trying to be, but it didn't quite reach that level. Sure, the chorus was graceful, but the verses kind of lacked feeling. Here, a similar concept is used with an electronic beat and uplifting tone, but it's done much better. I think that's very much thanks to Captain's stellar production. I would go so far as to put The Sweet Escape in my top 10 Poet songs of all time. Not that I have an exact list, because I don't, but it's not that far away from Lift, Carnival of Rust, and War. Seriously, I think this song is one of their best. But the highlight of the whole thing? Name drop. Like Ghost in Ultraviolet. Moments Before the Storm. The wind chimes almost remind me of Moonlight Kissed, but not quite. Here we have a song that's part pop, part rock, with a cool guitar solo near the middle. I wish it would have been longer though. I also like the thunder effects used after the first chorus, but again, I wish it was used more. The lyrics aren't the strongest on the album, but they're not bad. I will say, though, there were a couple parts where I swear I heard Marco saying one thing, then when I looked at the lyrics on their website later, it was something else entirely. For example, the first couple times I heard the song, I thought he was saying differences damned, when he was really saying defenses down. Now I can hear it the way it really is, but one that I just can't unhear no matter how hard I try is during the bridge when he says, "Is love its justification?" Every time I hear it as, "His love is just a vacation." I'm sure it's just Marco's Finnish accent coming through more than it normally does, but I thought I should mention it. Getting back to the instrumental, the last turn of the chorus adds a layer of bass that isn't in the first two, and I really think the song would have been better if it had been there every time. I mean, sure, it makes the last time more powerful, but then when I hear the first two times again, it sounds like something is missing. This definitely isn't a bad song, but it's not my favorite on the album. In a Perfect World. The first thing you hear in this one is an object being moved around in the studio, which is similar to how The Labyrinth opened. Coincidentally, both songs are track 8 on their respective albums. But anyway, In a Perfect World is on the slower side as far as instrumental, being driven entirely by acoustic guitar, but it flows so smoothly and has a cool kind of sonic resonance, mainly when he says, "Baby, we're not here to stay." I also noticed a similar vocal pattern to a song from Marco's old band Playground called Different Light. Listen closely so you can see what I mean. Touch me now. So hey. I'm not sure if everyone will catch the similarity, but the first time I heard that part of In a Perfect World, it totally made me think of the way Marco's voice slowly rises with each word in Different Light. I'm not sure if that was intentional, it probably wasn't, but if it was, that was an amazing nod to a really obscure part of the poet's history. The lyrics of the chorus are really well written. A world that is milk and honey, the tapestry of life is a beautiful journey. That line invokes very sweet and pleasant images in contrast to Monday, 1 a.m., dark and always pouring. But the point of the song is that contrast, which comes to a peak when the narrator lists the things that would make a perfect world, such as never lying, never crying, and even never dying. Fortunately, 2 of those are technically possible, but we can't have all 3, at least not with today's technology. I also love the ending guitar chord. It sounds so magical, almost like a lullaby, and somehow I find it really good at portraying the message of the song. Even though things may not be perfect and there will be struggles to deal with, at least we can appreciate the good things in life. Overall, this is a really good song with a message that's both humble and pleasant. Angel. Similar to The Sweet Escape, this one sounds very 80s inspired, with a hint of the same uplifting vibe from Fool's Paradise, except for some reason it's not quite as good as either of those. It's like the kind of song you would hear during the end credits of an inspirational movie, except it doesn't really stick in your head that long after hearing it, likely because you're too busy thinking about the movie itself. The message of this song completely eludes me. I'm honestly not sure what Marco means by "kiss the feathers of a hummingbird in flight." I might assume this song is about another broken relationship, except the lyrics are all over the place in terms of tone, so I can't really piece the meaning together. Overall, it's a decent filler song, but there isn't anything unique about it to make it stand out on its own. I will say one good thing about it though, and that's the fact that the production sounds clear. You can hear Marco's voice over the beat at all times, even when the beat picks up volume for the chorus. If Stefan Bowman had handled this song, I just know it would have been another disaster like Center Stage. And last but not least, Choir of Cicadas. Now a little bit of a side story. When they first revealed the track list for the album, I assumed Cicadas was pronounced the way I just pronounced it, but my dad thought it was Cicadas. So we made a bet on how Marco would pronounce it. Now honestly, it doesn't matter, it's like potato, potato, tomato, tomato, but in the case of this song, I win! Getting to the song itself, this had to be the biggest bombshell surprise for me when I first heard the album. That's right, Poets of the Fall has officially done a gospel song, with pipe organ and holy lyrics abound. At least in the intro and second half, that is. Between that, we have a moving piece about an old city and the narrator driving through it, looking at everything and reflecting on the few tiny bits of liveliness to be seen in contrast to its mostly run-down state. It kind of makes me think of the Carnival of Rust video in that way. This part of the song would be perfect for waving lighters when they perform it live, but then it shifts back to the pipe organ heard at the beginning, and Marco starts singing a hymn to God. Personally, I'm not religious, but this part is one of the most heavenly things I've ever heard in my entire life, and not just from the poets. You ever see or hear something that's so sad and good, it's like you don't want to see or hear it again because you know you'll get choked up? That's this part for me. Out of every final song on every Poets album, this one is without question the saddest. Not even Where Do We Draw the Line can compare to it. Of course, despite knowing I'll get choked up by it, I still come back to this song anyway because it's so good. This song ends the album in a way that leaves you speechless, just as a Poets of the Fall album should. So in conclusion, I'm going to give Ultraviolet a 9 out of 10. Though there were a couple pacing issues where songs that were amazing on their own didn't really flow with each other, it's definitely an improvement over Clearview, largely thanks to Captain being behind the production once again. And the fact that they continued to experiment with new sounds helped keep things fresh and exciting, even though a lot of those new sounds were electronic beats rather than rock instrumentals. So to answer the question from the start of the review about the future sound of Poets of the Fall, it's kind of difficult to answer. I think they're going more in the direction of Clearview musically, of course with better production, but they're also showing elements here and there of their older works, mainly on Standstill and In a Perfect World. So I think they're trying to please both audiences somewhat. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the direction that this album took the band, and I'm excited to see where they'll go next. But before I go, I'm going to make a wild prediction about the future. Remember the greatest hits album, Alchemy Volume 1? That album covered albums 1 through 4, and since then, albums 5 through 8 have come out. So I'm guessing that in 2019, we're going to get Alchemy Volume 2. I'm very eager to see if I'm right, because if it's like the first Alchemy, it'll include some new material as well. So that's it for the review portion of this video. Now we move on to a special surprise unboxing of something really cool, which I actually recorded like 2 months ago. Personally, I don't think it came out very well, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So thank you for listening to the review of Ultraviolet, and enjoy the unboxing.
Okay, I am really excited right now because I just got this package in the mail from Backstage Rock Shop. Backstage Rock Shop is the web shop that Poets of the Fall does their merchandise through, and I got the Ultraviolet CD plus t-shirt plus signed postcard bundle that you get when you pre-order the album. Now the thing is, I didn't actually pre-order the album, but when I went on Backstage Rock Shop, they had a few left over. I guess they didn't sell all of them in the pre-orders, and they had one left in medium size, which happens to be the size I wear, so I figured I'd get it despite the overly pricey shipping and handling. But it was well worth it because here we are, we have it now, and we are going to open it up and see it for the first time in person. So I'm going to grab my trusty scissors. I'm going to switch hands with the camera and the scissors, and I'm going to be very, very careful as I cut the corner off and hopefully don't cut the t-shirt. Excuse me while I set it down and rip it open. Okay. Here we have the corner of it. Oh boy, here we go. What do we have? So it's folded in. Got my personal stuff, the confirmation, whatever. Black Friday weekend sale. A thank you note. I get 15% off my next purchase exceeding 50 euros. I'm in America, so I don't use euros. Oh, here we go. First, let's do the t-shirt. And get the scissors out from under it. That's very dangerous. Okay, I'm very excited right now to take a look at this Ultraviolet t-shirt. There it is. Let's see what it says. It says, well, it's kind of hard to read. I think it says, whatever you do, don't scream. Oh, believe me, it's very hard not to scream right now because I am so excited. So excited that I have this merchandise. This is my first ever Poets of the Fall merchandise. Okay. Now it looks like this is sealed too, so I'm going to have to set that down again and open it. I can try to do this one-handed, I guess. Okay. And in here, we have, come on, Ultraviolet. Oh my god. There it is. This is the first Poets of the Fall album that I have on CD. All the other ones I have digitally, but this is the first one I have physically. Okay. Huh. Doesn't feel like there's anything else in here. Oh, maybe it's in here? Yes, it is. Ha! In my personal information. Oh, this is the thing I've been waiting for. This is truly it. This is so exciting to see. Oh my god. All of their signatures. Holy crap. Okay, nothing on the back. Oh, the corner's a little bent, but that's no big deal. Oh my god. That's beautiful. Oh, oh my god. I'm definitely going to frame this, as long as I can find a way to do it where I don't smudge the ink. Oh my god, I am so excited. That's really all their signatures. Okay, done fanboying, so let's see what we have. Let's gather it all up. Let's see. We have the t-shirt, the album, some backstage rock shop stuff, and the magnum opus of this entire thing. Oh, that is so cool. That signed postcard. That is so cool. So there it is. Okay. You know what? I should actually open this up and show the inside of the album. So excuse me for 1 second while I do that. Okay, so I got the wrapping off, and it was actually kind of hard to do with my short fingernails and the fact that my scissors aren't very linear. They're very big, so it was kind of a hassle to get the wrapping off, but it's off, and now we can take a look inside. To find what you're looking for in the world, look within. Notice what works instead of what doesn't. Watch the ripples start with you. That is very deep, very deep. So I actually have not opened this yet. I'm going to look at it for the first time myself with all of you. That is assuming you don't have it yourself, but whatever. If you do, then welcome to the family. We all have Ultraviolet. So, I don't know why I'm trying to take this out. It's kind of risky. I don't want to tear it. But this should be the booklet. Okay, now that I've gotten that out, let's take a look at this. So it's basically all the song lyrics. Once again, our most heartfelt thanks to all our loved ones and all of you out there who keep supporting us. Thank you so much. Peace and love. Yes, peace and love to Poets of the Fall, and to everybody. yeah, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. And until then, keep rocking.